Welcome. Today we're going to create a medal. Now you can create a medal to honor the fact that you've completed the 3D printing course, or maybe you want to create a medal to honor a sports achievement, a music achievement, academic achievement, whatever it might be, something to recognize yourself for your accomplishments. Or maybe you think that's a little much and you want to create a medal for someone else in your life. Number one mom, number one dad, best brother, best sister, anything like that would be great. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is open up a web browser, go up to the address bar and type in tinkercad.com. tinkercad.com. Click enter and that will take you to Tinkercad's homepage. Now here, you'll have the option to log in if you already have a Tinkercad account, sign up if you need to create one. I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. And once you are logged in, you'll see your design gallery with anything you've ever created in Tinkercad before. You'll also see this little blue button that says Create. Click on that blue button and then click 3D Design. Now this will open up a brand new work plane for you where you can create your project. The first thing we want to do is give this project a name. So in the top left corner, you're going to see a name that Tinkercad has assigned your project. Click on that name. It'll turn light blue, and then you want to type in a name you'll recognize. So I'm going to type in Medal, M-E-D-A-L. Now I'm ready to begin the design. First, I need to create the basic round shape of a medal. So I'm going to come over to the basic shape window and click on this orange cylinder. Click it and then click on the work plane. Now I need to change the size to make it bigger. So I'm going to click on one of these white squares. And I'm going to change the size. Right now I can see it's 20 millimeters this way. I'm going to change it to 65. So just type in 65 and enter. Now I want to change the number here at the bottom. So I'm going to click on one of the white squares again, click on the 20 at the bottom, and change that to 65. So again, 65 and then enter. Now I have the round shape of the medal, but it's too thick. If I tried to hang that around my neck, it would be really awkward. So I need to make it thinner. To make it thinner, I'm going to click on this white square that's in the center. And then I'm going to click where it says 20, and I'm going to change it to 6. So just type in 6, enter. Now it's thinner the way a medal should be. Now if I look at the medal closely, you can see these little sides around it. If you like that look, you can leave it just like that. If you want to make it rounder and smoother, use the slider here where it shows sides and just drag that all the way to the right so that it shows 64. So you can see now it's nice and round. Now I want to create an indentation in the medal, so it's a little hollowed out. So to do that, I'm going to click on this gray striped cylinder. Those gray stripes mean that it's a hole. So I'll click on that, and then I'm going to place that on top of my medal. Now I need to change the size to make it bigger. So I'm going to click on one of the corner squares. Click on this 20 that shows me the size this direction. And I'm going to change it to 56. So 5, 6. And enter. Next up, I want to change it this direction as well. So I'm going to click on the 20 and change it to 56 too. Okay, so 5, 6, and then enter. Now I need to make this hole actually go down into the metal. So I'm going to choose this little triangle or cone shape. And I'm going to click and hold and go down where the numbers are showing there. I want it to say -4 and then let go. Remember, if you ever mess anything up, there is a little undo button here. You just undo whatever you last did that you didn't mean to, and then you can redo it so that it is done correctly. Now again, you can see the little sides here. If you like that look, just keep them there. But if you want to make it nice and smooth, you can slide this slider all the way to the right so that it shows 64. Now I need to line these two shapes up, so I need to select both of them. To do that, I'm going to click here on the background somewhere and hold down that right mouse button and drag so that I have this little red square coming out around both of those shapes. And as long as any part of the shape is included in that red square, it will be included. Now I want to make sure here I have shapes selected too. And then I'm going to click on the Align tool, which looks like a longer rectangle on top of a smaller one with a line on the side. That's going to make all these little circles pop up around. And I'm going to click on this circle in the middle and this circle in the middle. And notice now it should be centered. Now I still have both of those shapes selected. I'm going to click on the Group tool, which looks like a square and a circle joined together. Now you can see it looks like I have a plate. Okay, the hole is cut out of the middle. And I have that nice metal shape. Now I need to create the piece at the top that's going to allow me to hang the metal on a lanyard so I can hang it around my neck. So for that, I'm going to select the torus. So a torus is this blue circle at the bottom that's rounded, looks like a donut. I'm going to click on that donut and I'm going to add that just somewhere on the blue work plane. So don't put it on top of your metal, just anywhere on that blue background. Now I want to rotate this so that it's standing up on its side. So to rotate, I'm going to use this curved arrow here. I'm going to click and hold, make sure I stay inside the blue circle, and go to 90 degrees. Then I can let go. Now I want to use the information in this little window here that tells me about the shape of the torus or donut. And I'm going to change the radius to 3.5. So that should make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to change the tube. So just click on that number and change it to 1.25. So 1.25, enter. Now I need to get these two shapes lined up. So I'm going to click on the background and drag that red square so that I have them both selected. Now I'm going to click on the Align tool, which again looks like the longer rectangle on top of the smaller one. Now I'll see those circles appear again. This time I want to click on the orange circle first, and that tells the circles just go around the orange circle. Now I'm going to click here at the top, click here in the middle, and click here on the bottom. So now I have it top aligned, middle aligned, and bottom aligned. Now I want to click anywhere on this blue background to get out of this Align tool and make those circles go away. Now I'm going to click on the donut shape, the torus shape, and then look down at the keyboard, find the up arrow, and click that up arrow 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now if I rotate around, you can see where that hole is. Now I'm going to use this triangle or cone shape. Click and hold it down and move down 1 millimeter. Now you can see that it's sticking out a little bit on the bottom, so I need to fix that. So I'm going to rotate my die around so that I'm viewing this from the bottom. I'm going to come over to the Shapes window and select this striped box. Then I'm going to place it on top of the orange metal. Now I'm going to drag the squares out to make it big enough to cover that blue donut. So my goal is to cut off that little piece of blue that's sticking out underneath. So that's why it doesn't matter exactly what size this is as long as it completely covers that blue donut piece. Now I'm going to select everything in my design by clicking on the outside somewhere there and dragging that red box around everything I have so far. And then I'm going to click the group button. Now you can see it cut off the edge of that hanger. And now I have my basic metal shape. Now I'm ready to create the design in the middle so I know what this metal is for. So you can use some of the basic shapes here as long as it's flat on both sides, but I'm actually going to use a gear to represent 3D printing. Now there are no gears here under the basic shapes, so instead I'm going to search for one. So I'm going to click here on this magnifying glass and type in gear. Now if there's a specific shape you'd like to find, you can type it in there and see if that's one of the available shapes. Now, once I've found the gear, I'm going to use this gray useful gear, click it, and now I'm going to click on to the middle of the metal. Now you can see it's sticking way up, so I need to make it smaller. So I'm going to click on that center square where I can see the height. And then I'm going to click on the 20 and change it to 2. To make it flatter. Now I want to make this a little bigger. So first I want to view it from the top. So I'm going to click on top on the die over here. Now to make it bigger, I'm going to look at the keyboard, find the Shift key, hold down the Shift key, and drag this corner square at the same time. So by holding down that Shift key, it makes everything stay proportional, which means it doesn't get too skinny or too fat. Now I'll need to adjust the height again. So I'm going to click on that center square one more time and change the height back to 2. Now I want to make sure this gear or whatever shape you use is in the center of the metal, so I need to use the Align tool. So I'm going to click and drag somewhere on the background, make sure I include the metal and the gear. So I have shape selected 2. Now I'm going to click the Align tool, and now I'm going to click the center circle here. Now if I click the center circle on this side, it's going to move it up too far. The reason that happens is because I have this little hook on the top. But then I can click on anywhere to get out of that Align tool, click on just the gear or whatever shape you're using, and then use the down arrow key to move it back into place. And of course, make sure you are viewing it from the top so that you're getting an accurate picture of where it is. Now I want to add some text so I know what the metal's for. So I'm going to come back over to where my shapes are, click on the X so that I go back to the basic shapes, and now I'm going to select the red text here. I'm going to click it, and now I want to be sure I place it onto the orange part. So wherever your cursor is, make sure it is on the orange, not on top of your shape. So I'm going to click on, just to be sure, I'm going to put it on the side here. So I'm going to make sure I click on the orange part, on the center of the orange part, not on this outside rim either. Okay, and then I should be able to see that it is placed on that orange part. Now I'm going to change the text to be whatever it is that I want it to stay. And I'm going to make mine say maker. So in the text box, I'm going to type in M-A-K-E-R. Now I can change the font if I want. There's 4 different options to choose from. I like the one that it was automatically, so I'm going to keep it there. Now I'll click and drag it where I want it. I'm going to hold down that Shift key again and drag the text to make it the size that I want. All the time I'm holding down the Shift key. And once I have it approximately where I want and the size that I want, I'm going to click on that center square and change the height to 4. So click the number and change it to 4 and enter. Now I want this to all line up, so I'm going to select everything so far, click on the Align tool, and click on the center circle at the bottom. Now I'll click anywhere to get out of that Align tool. Now you could leave the metal just like this. If you want to, you could add another line of text. So if you wanted to put maybe the year down here, I can click on the text. Click the duplicate button, which looks like 3 squares stacked on top of one another. Now find the down arrow on the keyboard and click it until your text is not on top of the first text. And now I can change that text to be whatever I want it to be. So I'm clicking on where I had originally had maker, and I'm going to change it to 2024. Now if I want to make this text smaller, I can hold down the Shift key and drag one of the corner squares. But if I do that, notice the height gets smaller too. So I need to change the height back. So I'll click on that center square and change the height back to 4. And now I just want to make some adjustments using the arrow keys. I can again make sure everything is center aligned by selecting everything and using that Align tool and center aligning it. Now, once I have everything complete, I can select it all and click on the Group button, which looks like the square and the circle joined together. And that will make everything one color. Now, if I want to change what color it appears on the screen, I can select whatever color I want to use. And now I'm ready to print this out. Now, once you're ready to slice it, the first thing you need to do is click here on the Export option. Check to make sure it shows Include Everything in the Design is checked. Make sure that blue circle is filled in. And then check STL. Now open up the slicing program. Click on the Add or Import button. Choose the metal that you just created and click on Open. You'll see your metal there on the plate. Check to make sure you have the correct printer selected. For your layer height, you can use 0.2 or anything up to 0.3. Filament, I'll be using PLA. Make sure you have the type of filament selected that you'll be using. The infill, I'm going to make it 20%. You don't need supports for this print, so you can leave that turned off. And once you have all of those things selected, then click here on Slice Now. Now it's always a good idea to scroll the slider down and check what your first layer looks like. Make sure that it is flat and round and you can see the whole metal here, that it's not tilted in any way. Then you can scroll it up and see what that metal will look like. Notice here on the side I can see how much filament it will use as well as how long it will take. Now you can get your SD card from your printer and stick it into your computer. That'll make this little icon over here pop up. Click on that icon. Make sure you recognize the name here of your print. Click on Save. Then this here is the eject button, the X button. Take your SD card out, take it to your printer, and start your prints.